All right, it's time for Random Rambling Wednesday.
Woo-wee.
That was beautiful.
Did you like it? All that bacon, man, has got me feeling like a pioneer out on the open trail.
I came in this morning. JP's brought in a toaster oven and made us a pound of bacon. It was a glorious morning to be alive here in the studio, let me tell you.
My heart's not beating quite as smoothly as it was.
I feel like I need to go see a doctor.
Yeah, but nonetheless, man, damn, that bacon good.
That bacon good. So this is Random Rambling Wednesday, where we talk about any and everything. There is really no point to this podcast. Now, obviously, if you clicked on it because of the title, we'll get to that at some point. I do promise you. So I don't, we always try to title the videos on something that we covered that might interest you. But in the meantime, my name is Justin,
and I'm JP,
and we're the Podcasting Dad. Normally, we do talk about The Walking Dead, but we've expanded out, and I feel like before long, I won't even have to say The Walking Dead thing because we talk about just lots of different stuff, and this one included. Now, content warning, this is the one unfiltered podcast of the week where F-bombs may drop, things might get a little sexual in JP's topics of conversation, so you have been warned. We actually have had a couple of listeners say that their kids listen with them and love it, which is awesome, but this is not the one for kids, most likely. Depending on how you raise them. Depending on how you raise them. Without further ado, let's get into it. And don't forget to hit that like button. It helps us out a ton. And consider subscribing. After the podcast, we'll give social media info and Patreon info. So, JP, what is new in your life aside from whipping up some delicious breakfast for those of us here in the studio?
It was good, man. It was good. The bacon, I don't know if my life is that good. I'm getting sleepy too. No, I told you I saw that The Dead Don't Die movie day before yesterday. It was garbage.
You were not happy with that at all.
Nah, man. The one good thing about it was the song Sturgill Simpson wrote for it. But other than that, old what's his name, Jim Jarmel or whatever, I don't know, man. It's just one of those movies where it's just, oh, look how clever I am with how clever my movie is, and I'm going to beat you over the head with my social commentary.
Right.
And not in a smart way, like Spider-Man, for instance. Not going to say anything spoilerish, but it was a very smart movie where if you're in the know, it makes you think, but it's not like pushing an agenda. At least I didn't feel like, which I felt the exact opposite about Captain Marvel, but I felt like Spider-Man hit all the right notes.
Spider-Man was fantastic. The new Spider-Man, I dare say, may be one of the best movies from Marvel to date. And now,
absolutely.
Up to this point, I definitely was like, Endgame and Infinity War were my favorite two. And I mean, that's probably a lot of folks because it's the culmination of over 10 years of storytelling. But as far as, the Marvel movies that are on their own, that aren't in the grand scheme of things, just like their own kind of standalone movies in a way, this one is one of the best ever. They just keep getting better and better, man. And just the cast, the story. Jake Gyllenhaal was awesome in it. Mm-hmm. What a good actor, man. That guy is kind of like I say with Joaquin Phoenix. I think he could play whatever. He could play anything. Like, he's just such a talented actor. And, obviously Tom Holland is still, in my mind, probably the best Spider-Man ever. He's a great Peter. I can't wait till they start portraying him a little bit older, you know what I mean? Because he's still in a high school phase, which we do need with Spider-Man because there was a lot of high school stuff way back in the day. But, I'm excited to see him as like a college / like 20-something Spider-Man, which is probably when they'll bring in like Miles Morales.
Yeah, from what I've read, they're only slated so far for 3 Spider-Man movies. So I don't know if that's going to change. I don't know if there's going to be a little switcheroo. I don't know how it's going to work. But it was definitely a weird movie week for me. Like I said, loved Spider-Man, hate it. The Dead Don't Die.
That makes me so sad, man.
But dude, like the opening scene, I was just like, this is going to be awesome. It's got a grindhouse feel. Awesome song by Sturgill Simpson. Like, I was already writing the review in my head, and then like 30 minutes in, I was
just not feeling it.
Nah, and like I said, it was just so on the nose. Like, of course, like the asshole farmer Joe or whatever his name is. Of course, the first time you see him, he's wearing like a red hat that says something like a "Keep America White Again." It's just so on the nose, man. Like, you can you can address how you feel, one way or the other about the Trump thing without just being so fucking just blatant,
and the thing that gets on my nerves, love or hate the president, is the fact, okay, I'm over it. You love him or you hate him, whatever,
right.
man. Like, let's just, I know movies and comics and things have always been, about social commentary, but my God, it's just thrown in your face so much. I mean, I'm with you. It's like, dude, I go to movies and entertainment to escape the media and the news. And, I want to go into this other world where I don't have to think about, whether I love or hate the president, blah, 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 blah. And then, you go to one that, and like you said, subtle commentary is one thing, to write it to where it's like, well, you could take it that way if you wanted to, but it doesn't really dictate the whole film. Versus like right blatant in your face.
Yeah, man. Make me think. Don't force feed me.
Right.
Don't
that's a great way to. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Make me think. Was that a jab at the Trump administration or whatever, or like whereas what you're talking about, where they're just like, here, if you like Trump, you're racist.
Yeah, and like the movie was so well cast. You got Bill Murray, you got Adam Driver, Steve Buscemi, Danny Glover. Oh God! I left the movie like angry. Like I was angry that I spent money going in like thinking it was going to be so great
to just pretty much watch propaganda.
Yeah, dude, I really left the movie.
Cannot talk anymore.
Not in a good mood, but
Yeah, I feel you. It's been a very disappointing week. So spoilers for the Walking Dead comic, and I just say this because it's out today, and by the time you listen to this, you might have already been to your local comic shop and picked it up.
Facebook anyway.
It's everywhere. So spoiler if you don't want Walking Dead comics. Spoilers, not as far as it's kind of a big spoiler, so just bear with us. But The Walking Dead's ending, the comic book, not the show. The show will go on. Who knows? Maybe now the show will get even, I don't know, maybe they'll get worse because they don't have source material to draw off of. Or maybe it'll get better because they'll come up, they'll be able to use ideas that they haven't because they were so radically different from the comic. But The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman, they just announced like it's ending. This is the very last issue. They had already had, 2 covers from the next 2 issues.
Yeah. I found out Monday. I have a comic app that tells you what the hot books are going to be every given week. And under that, it says, unexpected final issue. And I'm like, unexpected final issue? What the hell? And then I look into it, and yeah, that's a real thing. And on one hand, I guess I kind of like just, it's going to end at some point. In a way, it is a little easier just ripping it off in one shot like a Band-Aid instead of like just like a whole year of like, oh, this is it. Got to enjoy it while it lasts.
He should have ended it, though, like on his, he was like 3 months shy of his 16-year anniversary or something. I don't know. I get like, and it takes a lot of the pressure off of, when they know like, okay, issue whatever will be the final issue, then there's like, so much anticipation and build-up, and it's really hard, I guess, as a writer to deliver on that anticipation. Because just kind of like with Infinity War, that could have easily went south. Luckily, it was amazing. But, you've had all these years of build-up, knowing that this was coming, that all these movies were leading to one thing.
Right.
And if it would have not been done and executed just right, everybody would have just... it could have destroyed the franchise. People could have been so disappointed, you know what I'm saying? So I get it, but... I just feel like your fans deserve a little better than that.
Yeah, man. And I wonder if like the Walking Dead brand has kind of taken a lot of damage over the past few years. Just, the show's kind of declined and the brand's just not as strong. And I wonder if Robert Kirkman's just
jumping off a sinking ship.
Yeah, like I'm tired of being the Walking Dead guy. Even the comic is getting, more negative press than it has in previous years or whatever. So I wonder if he was just like, before this really, really jumps the shark, let's just...
this better be one hell of an issue, though, and it better be a little bit longer. This Walking Dead comics
bonus size,
is it
from what I've read?
Because Walking Dead comics aren't really super long. They're about the average comic size, but they just maybe it's because I love it so much. But I flip through and it's like as soon as I start, I'm pretty much done. So I better not get that feeling, and I better be a damn good send off.
Yeah, so I do kind of wonder if Robert Kirkman would have taken it longer if this was his planned out for a very long time, that this is when and where it was going to end. I don't know.
We will have a review up of that sometime between now and Friday because 4th of July is tomorrow. We're both off, so I don't know that we'll be in the studio to get that up. Maybe we'll record it today and I'll get it uploaded tomorrow. I don't know, but we will be reviewing the final issue of The Walking Dead.
What a long journey, man. What a crazy journey.
And what an odd number to end it on. What is this, 193?
Yeah.
I mean, you would think. I mean, maybe me being a touch OCD, maybe I would want to end it on like issue 200. I mean, I at least would have figured out a way to extend it out to 200. Just because when I look at my collection, it's like, oh well, I don't have the entire collection. I've got I don't even know what JP's got well over half. You started in the 40s individually collecting. You've done like I did. I got the hardcovers. You used to get the trade paperbacks, and then started collecting in like the 40s. I started collecting like during the Whisperer thing.
Yeah, 49 was the first issue I bought, and that was the issue right after the prison massacre. And I have went back and got a lot of back issues. Some of them are just a little too rich for my blood, but. What do you think kind of ending we're looking at? You think it's going to be just some big cataclysm where like almost nobody's left, just kill like half the cast in one last issue? You think it's going to be just a nice little, like toast for the end of it?
I think it'll be like a toast. I mean, I don't know though. I don't know if he's gonna. I don't know, man. Like I said, that sucks. That sucks. I'm glad to have I've been saying I need to trim my pull list for a while, and every time I trim it, they always end up being. I'm a sucker for miniseries, as I know you are too. Like if they have the symbiote Spider-Man, symbiote Superman, that would be dope. A symbiote Spider-Man, like that little miniseries has been pretty awesome, and I know it was pretty much just to push Mysterio for the new movie or whatever, but it's been pretty good so far. But like anytime they come out with a little, and whenever you have these big Marvel events, it's hard, or DC too, it's hard not to jump on that because you never know. Like like with Flashpoint back in 2011, like that was a huge event that reshaped the entire DC universe. So like you don't want to miss any of these little miniseries because you never know which will be the next big thing.
Especially the big crossovers. Yeah.
But every time I say I'm going to trim my pull list, I end up picking up something else. So I'm glad to be one comic lighter on my pull list, but I would not have wanted it to be The Walking Dead.
Yeah, man, me neither. But
Infinite Darkness, that one's been kind of meh. Like I like it, but I don't love it. If they would have wrapped it up, cool. It's a good little run. Gideon Falls, I've loved it. Been going for a little while, but if they would have wrap it up this time, I could say, well, I could see the end was on the way, but wonderful series.
I've got to tell you, man, I think for the first time in many years, I don't have any Robert Kirkman on my pull.
I do.
So I
still got
Oblivion song.
And that sucks because that's getting its own, show or movie or something?
Yeah. I mean, I figure that it was mainly setting up a show.
But it is, it's gotten good. Oblivion song got really slow there for a while. It just felt like the first 10 issues could have been condensed down to like 3 or 4.
What would make me so happy today?
It's turned around.
If the last page of this issue of the last issue of The Walking Dead, Carl and Negan just set off down the road, and it's like to be continued next month in The Walking Dead. Negan and Carl do America.
That would make me so happy. Just give me a Negan series, man. Like we've said for a while, we both will be happy with like a Negan spinoff where it just follows Negan. He's just such a fun character, man. Like I really am. We better see him this issue if this really is the end. If it just ended with him walking down the road and burning his bat, like it's not closure.
Dude, what if they get back from the Commonwealth and Negan's just completely taken back over? Like he's in his leather jacket, he's got a new Lucille. He's just like, "Welcome back, bitches." It
ends with them on their knees, and he's like, "Eeny, meeny, miny," and the last frame is him go, like you are, and the last one's it, and it just goes black.
He was just like, "Hey, Carl, it's all about the long game, motherfucker."
Sup now, bitch?
Yeah.
It's like one of those movies where he's had it orchestrated. I purposely sided with your dad because I knew blah, 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 blah. And you find out, like, he set up everything. Like, even the Commonwealth. Like, he set it all up just to get that last laugh.
Oh, my God.
And when you're like Maggie, we haven't seen Maggie, we have, but we haven't seen, I don't know, the Hilltop. I don't know. So many other things. I just hate that our last few issues were spent in the Commonwealth. I mean, I would have rather been back at Alexandria or the Hilltop or...
Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I'm a little distraught, as you can tell. And it probably comes from lack of sleep as well. So
yeah, I didn't sleep well last night myself, but that had a lot to do with just taking a nap, an ill-placed nap.
Yeah.
And then
naps, you have to be strategic with your naps.
Yeah. But no, it's all right. It's all right. It'll be all right.
I just scored myself a sweet giant poker table for $40.
Well, that's a plus.
He was asking quite a bit more than that, and I just shot a random. I had that luck too when I bought my house. Just shot a random low number, which the house they were like no, but then countered with another very low number. So I was like, okay. But I shot him like probably more than half off of what he was asking for, and he's just like, yeah, that's sweet. Because I got a little table in my basement, but it kind of wobbles. And I actually might put that to the side, and when we set up like a home studio for podcasting, we'll have a little round table.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah,
that's good, man.
I think we're just both anxious to get to the comic shop and get that comic. Now Marvel's bringing back Marvel Zombies. Are you going to jump on that? Yeah,
well, depending on what...
Because Kirkman's wrote that in the past, right?
Yeah, he wrote the first series, so I don't know. It depends on who's writing it. I'll probably at least get the first issue.
Hopefully they'll have some more sweet variants, because right now Deceased is going on in the DC universe, which is where a zombie plague is kind of taking out the DC universe, and that's been pretty damn good so far, and the variants they've had for that have been... Oh, and you said we do get a Deceased, so there probably are some variants over there.
I saw one.
Who was it?
It was one of the movie variant covers for like the movie
that one.
The Nun or something.
I don't want that one. I want the heroes. Like I got zombie Batman, zombie Superman. I want like a zombie Green Lantern or a zombie Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Like it is like a zombified Superman, but like I said, it pays homage to some horror movie I've never seen. Also, I think it's called The Nun, which I have no idea what that is.
The Nun. But this is probably the first Random Ramblings where we talked about like comics and not conspiracies the entire time.
Yeah, man. I am kind of trying to save some juice for that. I would like, if not this week, then next week for sure, the first Woke Weekly podcast or whatever.
What are we going to talk about?
It. Well, I know I wouldn't mind like, staying on the theme of social conditioning and maybe start it off with like a space fraud and the Masons and Isaac Newton and all this stuff and stuff that kind of like feeds into the larger picture with the flat earth, because I know it's a lot of people, most people think it's stupid, but it's interesting to talk about, and I'm a sucker for that stuff. So that would be good. Obviously there's the other stuff.
Do you have all the information you need?
I need to have it better formatted.
Please get it formatted so we can do this next week.
Yeah, man. Let's just go ahead and say it. We're gonna do it next week.
A woke podcast. JP's going to try to open my eyes to the possibility of a flat Earth.
Among other things. That's not all we're diving into, but I know that's a big one, a big old flat one. We'll do that.
I think of all the conspiracies you've brought me, though, that's probably the only one I've been very doubtful of, right? I'm pretty open-minded to the rest that you've brought.
Yeah, for the most part. You're open to the possibility, that there are dark forces at work shaping our reality and maybe not always working in our best interest with just their dark forces. Obviously, they're not working in our best interest. So we'll get into some stuff like that.
You got to talk more about the Ninth Circle?
Yeah, we'll get into...
That's some disturbing stuff, so we'll have to give a warning for that one.
Yeah, the old Ninth Circle, them old pedophiles.
Pedophiles.
Yeah, you remember one of my first stand-up bits was about pedophiles, It's like, of course I hate pedophiles, but what bothers me the most isn't the raping of the little boys and girls, the children. It doesn't make lingual sense. If we're going to call them, wouldn't it make more sense to use that word pedophile for people having sex with their household cats and dogs? And then I pause and I say, that joke was really funny in my head until I realized the first syllable of pedophile was P-E-D, not P-E-T. And it's just so absurd. I got a pretty good laugh off of it.
So pedophile, people that are banging their pets.
And people are just like, what the fuck is this guy even talking about?
What would you call a pedophile then? A childophile?
Yeah, well, that was the whole joke, just the absurdity of what I was saying.
But like by that logic, it's just a fun thought experiment. Yeah. I call them dead. Well, that's what they should be.
Yeah,
dead in a ditch. I've been watching. There's a channel I've mentioned it before. It's called Lazy Masquerade. He basically just does narrations. Like all he does is top lists of where he'll read like Reddit accounts and. Really enjoy his channel. He's got a really good voice for what he does. Like it's not dark or scary, but he does what he does very well. And a lot of he'll cover some supernatural stuff. It's just kind of a little bit of everything, like people that have found someone in their house or someone that have had someone try to break in. And the last few that I've been looking up were like, I thought they were going to be more like supernatural or someone trying to break in and kill you, but they've actually been like childhood stories of people like almost getting kidnapped. You know what I mean? Like someone saying they were in the woods and a guy tried to get him to go with them and stuff. kind of scary. Like a lot of them you find, if they are true stories, because I mean, it's all he knows they are, but they claim to be true on Reddit. But if some of them are, man, there's some scary stuff on how many, because I mean, I don't know, like not every child abduction makes headlines. You know what I'm saying? So it's really kind of scary how many kids get abducted by these psycho killers than we realize.
I'm telling you, man, it's weird. Like, there's talking about like disgusting pedophiles and stuff. This girl I went to high school with, she was actually my senior prom date. Like, the last time I saw her little sister, she was probably like 3, and now she's posting like pictures of her for her 21st birthday or something, and she's just like super hot. And I'm just like, man,
it's weird.
There's some very conflicting feelings going on in my pants right now. Like, my mind is trying to overwrite the blood rushing to my penis, but it's really not working because these pictures, she is super fine. And
I mean, not quite as strong of feelings as yours. You know, my mom's always like running at-home daycare type thing. So, I mean, I remember being like 10 and these kids being like little kids, and now they're in like their early mid-20s and attractive. But like in my mind, it's programmed like, yeah, she's cute, but in my mind, she's always going to be that little baby.
Yeah, man, it's like sexually, I'm still kind of stuck at 23. I think, I don't, or maybe not quite 23.
Talking about like you're 23, or that's the age that you like?
Well, dude, I mean, right now my companion, I've got one that's a straight 10 years younger than me. Well, a little less than 10 years, but nah, man.
Close
I mean,
to 10 years.
I'm rocking my dirty old man thing. I mean. It just kind of is what it is, baby. I ain't gonna get locked up. And
you gotta own it.
That. Yeah. What else are you gonna do?
Well, she's legal though. It's not like you're dating a 16-year-old.
I can take her to bars and stuff, and it's fine. I always kind of had a rule. Like I'm, like early 20-ish. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't dabble throughout my late 20s, now into my 30s, but I never really stuck around with them for much, but she just kind of, I mean, she was the one kind of latching on. And
she was the one. She was the one.
Latching on.
The
and,
one.
Now it's an all right thing. And, but I don't know, man. It is still kind of weird because she's still like very much like she's got blue hair right now. So we go out somewhere. I'm sure a lot of people think the girl with her dad or something, and
no doubt, like you're balding and she's got blue hair.
Yeah,
that's sweet of that man to take his daughter out for dinner.
I'm telling you, man.
Then they see you kissing and they're like, "Oh wow!"
It's like the girl I was just telling you about that I took to prom. Like she's my age and her husband's in his 50s, and she's aged a lot better than me. She's I guess 30, but you just look and you're like, "Geez, that's disgusting." He's got it. More than 20 plus years on her, but then I'm over here like, well, I'm only sitting at like 10 years.
You're heading that route yourself.
But I'm only sitting at 10 years. But man, I mean, as gross as that is, I can only imagine being a 50-year-old dude and getting like a 25 or 30-year-old piece of coos coming at you, man. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I mean,
right. Well, you just be glad you got that opportunity, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're exploiting some daddy issues, but as I've said in previous podcasts, you got to find that weakness, you got to exploit it, and you got to reap the benefits, and that's it. But,
some more wonderful dating advice from JP.
No, but
might get you laid, but as far as if you're looking for a long-term relationship, I don't know if that's what you want to follow.
I've been catching so much guff about how I'm not, complimentary enough and affectionate enough and all this stuff.
Well, I mean, that's something. See, that's the thing that drives me crazy. That's my point. Why do people get into relationships with someone who they know well? And I'm not at all throwing any shade at your girlfriend. I've met her a couple of times. She's always been nothing but nice, and I very much, enjoyed being around her. But I'm just talking about people in general. Why is that the case? People start dating someone, and then they know what they're getting into. They know how this person is. And then they get mad when this person acts the way, you know what I'm saying? Like when somebody was to get in a relationship with someone who's a little awkward, not a very affectionate or loving or and you know that, but then you persist to get into this relationship, then you get mad that they won't change for you. And like, I get you're going to grow and change a little bit in a relationship, but I mean, you are who you are, and people know who you are going into this relationship. And then they get mad that you know what I'm saying? It's like the things they thought were cute about you in the beginning, like your inability to be affectionate or whatever, now they're annoyed by.
Right. So, I mean,
and I'm speaking from experience. I've had people that have known quirks of mine and get into a relationship and then get irritated down the road that I'm like, this is me. Like, you knew that when you got into this relationship. So what am I supposed to just stop being me and mold into your ideal fantasy of a perfect boyfriend?
I'm just.
But you should be a little more complimentary, though.
Are you talking about I should give you more compliments?
Both.
Yeah.
Both Caitlin, your girl, and me feel underappreciated by you, and we've had meetings on it, and we would appreciate if you would start making us feel prettier.
It's not me.
But you do. I mean, but at the same time, it swings both ways, though. I mean, yeah, I do understand that, there are some things that you can change. Like, you should be a little bit more complimentary. Now, as far as being more affectionate, I mean, it's just kind of who you are. I mean,
right.
And a little kiss every now and again or a hug probably doesn't hurt. But, I mean, I get it. If you're not affectionate, you're not affectionate. But a compliment doesn't hurt. Like, I mean, if you see her get out the shower and she gets all freshened up and stuff, tell her she looks nice. It's not hard to do.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, man, do you find yourself that once you're in like an ongoing sexual arrangement, you find that like most of the fun about, fucking is the thrill of the chase, man, like the conquest. And once that like conquest is over, there's no more thrill of the chase. It takes a lot away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, instead of being a deep sea fisherman out there on the sea, all of a sudden you're just fishing out of a stocked pond every day where you know what you're going to catch, and I don't know.
Yeah, but look, to keep I mean, like I said, compliment her more, man. That's not hard to do. Like when she gets dressed up to go somewhere, or she gets her hair dyed or something, or done, compliment her on it.
Like I straight up said, like she brought that up. I was like, man, like I told you, I don't really like loud colors in hair. I don't know. I mean, I was pretty point blank about that. I know, like
Does she ever compliment you?
No, all the time. But I don't.
Oh, come on, JP. Now, see, if she compliments you, now the hair thing, that's different. If she asked your opinion and you were honest and said, I don't really like colored hair, I feel like that's fun when you're a teenager, but, whatever, that's one thing. But, I mean, if she compliments you, you should throw compliments back at her. It's not hard to say, hey, you look nice.
But see, the thing with me is I'm very uncomfortable with compliments. So
but you'll never get over that if you don't start trying. Like with my girlfriend, I don't do a lot of crazy stuff, but if she's got like a new shirt, for instance, that I've never seen her wear before, I might say, is that a new shirt? And if she's like, yeah, I got it, blah, blah, I'll say, it looks good on you. I like that. Just little things like that. It don't have to be like stop and coo over her nonstop, but just give her like little compliments.
I don't think I'm going to start doing that.
You should.
No.
All right, well, when she, you find out she's banging some other dude that's giving her more attention than you are, you can't be but so upset. Well, you had your chance to step in and
if she'll at least just like take video and let me see that for my own
some
purposes,
women, whatever, you don't. Some women want to be worshipped, and that's the difference. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could understand if it's one of those things where they just want you to like worship the ground they walk on, and no, I'm not into those type of relationships. But a little compliment every now and again does not hurt. Yeah, that wouldn't be too, just like a point of view video, Even your style, man. Like if she's wearing a pair of pants that makes her ass pop, just be like, damn, baby, those pants make your ass look fine. Right. I mean, just something to make her feel good about herself. People like to feel good about themselves.
Yeah, but I'm all about negativity. So I think
JP's not about negativity. Don't believe that.
I'm going to continue to slowly poison her with my toxic vibes. Being with me is a lot like living next to a nuclear power plant, It's not going to happen all of a sudden, but sooner or later, you're going to wake up with some brain tumors. You're going to be bleeding out your butt, which may or may not be related to the radioactive metaphor, but nonetheless, it just did.
Now I'm concerned about this young lady.
Oh, well, you're probably not the only one.
But, I mean, compliment her every now and again, man. It's not hard. It really is not hard. Just make her everybody. Look, Maya Angelou, my favorite quote came from Maya Angelou, and it's so simple. People will forget, and I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember the exact quote, but people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you make them feel. That's true. And, I mean, I play more the straight man here on the podcast, but I think JP could agree off the podcast. I'm probably I'm pretty close to your level of cynicism. Like, I'm cynical as hell and sarcastic.
In sure.
But, here on the podcast, I try to be a little bit more straight-laced. And I think it just comes from being in radio for so many years. On FM, I have to play it so much straighter and can't be as wacky. And so I think it's kind of embedded, and that's why, whereas JP came into podcasting and radio at the same time, so he kind of got to weave himself into it. I was trained by someone who was more straight-laced and, you're here to inform them. Yeah. But at the end of the day, still, no matter, even though I am pretty cynical off the mic, you got to make her feel good about it. People like to feel good about themselves. And if you're the one, it's like giving them drugs, just less harmful. Like if you're the one who can hand people compliments.
I'm much more popular with the drugs, much more comfortable with
If you're someone who can hand people compliments and make them feel good about themselves, then you're someone that they're going to want to be around. Like in psychology, that's kind of a way you can make people gravitate towards you. Just make them feel good about it. If they feel good about themselves when they're around you, they'll want to be around you more because, surprise, surprise, people like to feel good.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I understand that, like, in the initial, like I said, with the thrill of the chase, initially, you got to.
But you let her move in. Motions. You let it move to what it is. So now you have to either own up to it, or you have to either own up to it or let it go. It's one of those two.
I'm just going to let it roll of its own volition. Whatever happens, happens.
That could be very damaging for her mental health.
Well, you know what? Trauma makes people stronger.
Not all the time, no.
Well, if it doesn't make you stronger, it's survival of the fittest, baby. It's going to be an awful world out there for you.
I take it she does not listen to these podcasts.
Let's hope not. We will not put anything about relationships or anything in the title of this one. So if you stay tuned this long,
oh my gosh! Look, man, I'm just trying to tell you, man. Compliment your woman every now and again. I mean, I'm not the world's best boyfriend by any means, and I'm not trying to just stand up on this platform. Let me step down for a second. I am not the best boyfriend. I'm forgetful. Sometimes I'm tired. I don't feel like being complimentative. I just want to sit on the couch and dive into the TV and whatever. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to keep a relationship going, you've got to find times to compliment each other.
That's certainly good advice for people, who give a damn.
Okay, do you want me to give you good advice on how to get her out?
No, look, like I said, I'm because
I'm good at that too.
I'm happy with the status quo. Things will go where they go, do what they do, and right now, man, my biggest focus is on like career stuff. So, I mean, personal stuff, I mean, I've had good, I've had bad, Actually, man, the dentist told me yesterday, I had my teeth cleaned. She said, you've been really stressed, haven't you? And I'm just like, what are you talking about? And she's just like, I can see the imprint of your teeth on your tongue, and that's a telltale. People do that when they're stressed. They push their teeth up against the back of their tongue up against the back of their teeth. And I was like, oh, wow.
That's interesting. I mean, that makes perfect sense, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've never had a dentist, a hygienist tell me that. Sucks, man. My dentist just retired. Now they got some new hot shot who wasn't even I told him I was getting ready to go see Spider-Man. He wasn't even feeling it. I was like, how can I let you in my mouth?
That's right. That's going to be no dentist of mine.
He was like, I saw like one of the Avengers, and I was just like, I got it. Or Ant-Man, or I can't even remember. Anyway, what a dick.
What an ass.
But speaking of Avengers, man, we got new comic books.
Yep. That's going to wrap it up for the podcast because, honestly, we love you, but we really want to get these comic books, and we're off tomorrow.
Pee, man.
And in radio, when you're going to be off for a day, you have to make it appear that you're still there. So we have a lot of extra. That's what I told people. Like, I love my job in radio, but I absolutely hate days off, to be honest with you, because it requires a lot more work. I have to pre-record the entire morning show. I do a morning show for one station, an afternoon show for another station, so I have to pre-record. I have to pre-record a morning show for the state, a whole morning show tomorrow, and then a whole afternoon show, and then I always do a day ahead just to cover myself. So then I've got to do it basically for 2 days. So,
and as a seller, I got to get out because businesses are going to be closed tomorrow and Friday. Probably won't be nobody be doing nothing. So I got to hit some pavement today, and I really got to pee too. Did I mention that?
You sucked that bottle of water down pretty quick.
Yeah, I got to pee. All the bacon too. So we love you. Check out our Patreon page. That's good advice.
I was going to say social media and Patreon. JP, tell them about Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon. There's a link to our Patreon in the description. Contribute whatever you want, $1, $1 million. All goes in the podcast. First things first, we're probably going to get some merch. We're also looking at some video equipment. And once we hit 20 patrons, we're going to do a prize pack drawing. Any donation gets you in the drawing, so be aware of that. Patreon, show some love. But we love all our listeners, whether you give us money or not. And yeah, it's a good thing. Social media, I guess, just get all that knocked out. Jpslim on Periscope, JP5000 on Snapchat, JAYPEA 5000. It's just Jpslim on Periscope. You don't have to spell it out. And J_Radsaw for the Instagram that I never use.
There you go. Mine's simple. Just I'm Justin Lloyd. All lowercase, 2 L's in Lloyd, no apostrophes, no spaces, nothing. Just I'm Justin Lloyd, Instagram, Periscope, and Snapchat. And made it a lot easier. So go follow us there. Make sure you go to Facebook and like the Podcasting Dead's Facebook page. Sorry to rush, but aside from getting comics, we've got so much stuff to do today.
And I've really got to pee.
And JP's really got to pee. So we got to jump on all of these things. I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.